Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Neki broadcast. Today we are playing a new player called Red Knight. He is obviously not ladder, and this is not a ladder game. However, I was curious about this clearing Gushes map. It's the first time I'm playing it, so it seems there are 8 villages on this map, which are mine, of course, by right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so there is quite a significant distance between, I would say, the northmost village and the southmost village. However, there are 2 keeps, which is, let's say, it makes this whole complex of villages a bit easier to defend. So it makes up for the long distance, the long diameter of my front line. However, I will be having difficulties defending this front line simply because I am Drake. So as we've learned from previous experiences, I should be incredibly careful with my initial recruit, because my initial recruit needs to get me through the first night, and I should be able to withstand a chaotic attack. 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm just making sure my opponent doesn't simply leave the game, because I'm thinking about my recruits. 7. Okay. I would say try to get a quick fighter if possible. There it is, quick fighter. And in this way, I could perhaps skip a glider. Although, with me being first time on this map, it's probably not recommended. However, I do want to desperately defend versus a first night attack. Versus a first night attack, skirmishes are quite useful. They are useful in holding these villages with 60% defense. This one is quick. So I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'll need a quick clash now. However, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, if I recruit a clasher now, it might be utterly useless. So I should have probably recruited a clasher here and the skirmisher on the other side. So I'm not really happy at this point. However, I do need a clasher here. I feel like that is the place for a clasher, definitely. Well, in case he isn't dead, an Orc would be absolutely useless. However, a glider would not be that useless. Second skirmisher would be suicidal versus Orc, so it's always difficult to recruit with Drake. I would say a burner. I didn't recruit a clasher, therefore I have enough gold for a burner. And you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least the burner can fly over here, and it's a quick burner as well. So this should give me enough firepower versus undead. Now I do need a clasher. This being said, and I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Quick clasher would be optimal. However, if it's not quick, okay, quick clasher, that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's great. Now, with this being said, I should perhaps get as well I'm not keen on getting 2 clashes simply because undead will absolutely demolish me if I'm getting 2 clashes. I am leaning towards another fighter. However, a quick intelligent clasher would be incredibly weak versus Orc. It's always like playing the violin when recruiting first time as Drake. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's not going to be pretty, no matter how I recruit it. Not really sure at this point. I would say mean, I need to be able to sustain this. So even if I recruit a skirmisher, it will be... I'm just going to go for another fighter. Even a glider to just gain vision, I guess. And the glider would be able to get this village and then get the other village. Or get this village and then get the one to the side. And it would also leave me with... So it would add to the unit diversity. And it would be relatively decent versus a ghost. And I do need some vision as well. So from this perspective, glider would be fine. Anyway, it's very stressful to recruit as Drake, no matter how you put it. I would say at this point, I mean, I feel that the clashes should be here, but I also want to see what he's going to do, right? So I also want to see his unit composition. Not really sure whether I should perhaps put the skirmisher back and use my leader to grab this village. Use my glider. Perhaps use my clasher here and then use my glider towards that side. Simply because if you think about it, attacking towards this side is a bit inconvenient. I mean, he would have to perhaps already commit 1, 2, 3 grunts towards that side, and I can do some swapperoo with the clasher and the glider. Anyway, I could also perhaps move my skirmisher towards that side. I'm also thinking now the burner doesn't really do much in the background, whereas the skirmisher can scout, the skirmisher can go back. So not really sure. I do want to get this village because I do want to gain as much vision as possible. So I'm thinking putting the burner back, simply because the burner, as I said, does not really do anything. But since I went with the fighter so far forward, might as well move the burner forward. As well, in terms of recruits with my leader, I would say 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is a nice pattern here. Could even get away with that. Let's see. Get as many villages as possible. I can't recruit at this turn anyway. Might as well get as many villages as possible, get a nice income, and be able to sustain those recruits as soon as possible. So 28 gold, that should give me enough of a bank to keep recruiting units one after another for quite a significant amount of time. Well, with this being said, it's really important what my opponent is, and with this sad bunch of drakes, I don't see myself defending very well against a full undead rush or a full orc rush. It's really inconvenient that I have to... okay, there is the orc rush. Now I'm a bit... Well, to be fair, there was nothing else, nothing better I could do. I can't really prepare for both. I mean, for undead and orc and... I don't know. I mean, undead and orc are the problems. Perhaps also dwarves are problematic at night, right? So, because they can really attack along the whole front line here, and it's really difficult to defend, right? So, I certainly like this map, Clearing Gushes. I'm not sure whether it's balanced or not, whether it has been around for long enough for it to be balanced. But it's really interesting. It's kind of like Silverhead Crossing, but a bit more aggressive. So it seems, I mean, Silverhead Crossings, drakes do have a fighting chance. Here, it feels like an orc rush or a chaotic rush, any chaotic rush for that matter, is incredibly strong and incredibly difficult to deal with for a drake warrior like myself. However, we shall see. I might resort to taking risks again, but I will try to play cleanly and try to minimize the amount of silly risks that I take. However, my orc opponent might not give me much choice, so I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, interesting. So he has decided to bring his units towards the center. No attack on this particular side. Lots of assassins. I'm already fine. So, well, it was nice discussion about the map anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and upload this video anyway. So, you know, my opponent perhaps is a bit of a beginner. I would say that Orcish assassins, they are not very efficient during first rush. I mean, one of them is fine, but two of them, I would say it's a bit too much. However, I might be talking and dying at the same time. We shall see. Especially 70% Orcish assassins on my villages, it would be incredibly difficult to kill. And with this being said, the only reasonable unit that I can recruit at this point, especially seeing all these Orcish assassins, is a Saurian Augur. So you can see I think I have recruited every single unit in Drake's arsenal. And let's call this the Neki recruit, right? Shall we? I've recruited basically one of each kind. Fully flexible, capable of dealing with absolutely everything and nothing. We shall see which one of those it actually. Okay, troll. Again, troll, slow troll. I mean, I don't agree with this. I mean, look how well I can maneuver around these trolls. They would be incredibly slow, and this would actually mean that I can be even a bit more aggressive with my unit placement here. And I can even push forward with my Saurian, try to put a bit more pressure on this wolf here, because there will be nothing happening on this side anyway, and I will be able to retreat. I can't really push forward with my clasher though. I mean, I can scout a bit here. I mean, not much information anyway. It feels like I'm a bit pinned down. However, I'm happy with my burner here on this particular tile. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I can even put the augur on this village and be absolutely fine. Okay, so far so good. It doesn't seem like a committed rush from my opponent. You know, always scout a bit if you can. However, not much information coming my way. I should probably rearrange this burner a bit. I feel that it's not necessary for it to be on the village. It can be a bit more aggressive, trying to scout what is going on, trying to perhaps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, that should be fine. On this side, perhaps a bit more on this side. Again, I'm just trying to find the sweet spot in terms of placement. You know, being able to help here and there, depending on how this Orcish army steers. I should be able to recruit 2 Saurians next turn. However, 2 Saurians versus especially trolls and Orcish assassins, pretty useless, I'm telling you right now. I mean, the Orcish assassin's retaliation damage with the dagger alone will deal a lot of damage to my Saurians, plus poison will just cut through their low hit points pretty quickly. However, I must not be so reliant on Saurians. They do deal, say, decent damage during nighttime. However, they die quickly, especially to orcs, especially to these trolls. And I do need a Saurian augur. I do need versus poison, especially seeing 2 poisoners. I do need it badly. However, I shouldn't fall into the trap of over recruiting these Saurians. I have a bit of a break on the top side. Probably my recruit would have been on the top side if I would have seen a massive attack here. And I'm pretty happy with my recruit. I mean, scout on this side, seeing what's coming at you. I don't feel that you should be delaying, for example, unless you have a guardsman that you're going to put here, then you can delay. But with Drake, I don't think you are in a position to delay grabbing this village. You do need the vision. Anyway, I'm going to let my opponent weigh. Anyway, tend to upload this. If anything, it's a good resource for players that don't usually play this map, and of course for newer players, which I assume our Red Knight opponent is, or I might be mistaken. I mean, I will see basically Red Knight destroying units left and right. So I'm really excited to see what he can do. Sorry, Red Knight, if I assumed you are a beginner. So let's see how he chooses to attack. To be really interesting. Okay. He doesn't seem to be in a hurry, though. He seems to I would even call it a bit camping. So he's basically saying, look, which is fine, which is a good decision given the recruits that he has had so far. So basically he's saying, I went with 2 trolls and 2 assassins. Trolls and assassins, I mean especially assassins, they are very expensive units compared to other choices that Orc has. Therefore, these are great units in terms that they are expensive. They offer more. For example, assassins offer high defense, and also trolls offer, poison, and trolls offer regeneration. So he's going to fill the numbers later on when he will be attacking during the second night cycle. He's going to fill those numbers with grunts. So that's another way to do it with troll. You can have a really strong attack during the second cycle if you don't really want to rush during the first cycle. So that's another way to do it, and it's completely valid. However, I'm a bit surprised. I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to take it. I mean, okay, that was, I believe, a beginner's mistake. Unfortunately, you shouldn't leave your village uncovered, especially as Orc. There's really no real reason to do that. So this is unfortunately turning out to be a bit of a, I mean, not unfortunately, it's always good to have some of, some videos like that from time to time, but this is turning out to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, one of the, let's call it lower level videos. So in terms of how these will be, not really sure whether he has a wolf that is basically threatening this village or not. I'm not really sure whether it's a trap. I would assume not. And I'm going to, anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So even if he has, I would want to hit him with my burner. And I would be recruiting another burner. I am going to prepare 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I should be able to hit him from more sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would even say I want to be able to hit properly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. If he has a burner, I'm basically going to hit him really, really hard. So making sure whether, I mean, if he does take this village, he will suffer the consequences, right? And I shall see how he decides to play this. I don't think he has, unless he made a sneaky play here with another wolf to try to zone of control me. However, it would be incredibly difficult simply because I have the skirmisher to close down the zone of control attempt. Now, okay, so finally comes the orc army. However, he should have been in this aggressive position not at first watch, but at dusk. So first watch should have been already involved attacking my villages. I'm not particularly worried about this assassin unless there is another stronger unit following up. Otherwise, there's really not much that I am, I don't really have that much to worry about. I mean, in terms of what I'm seeing trolls, I'm seeing wolves, I mean, wolf, to be fair. I'm seeing orcish archers, so perhaps 2 burners should be enough. I should probably recruit another fighter to be able to deal with the ranged units, for example, deal with these assassins as well. However, another burner will seriously deter these troll whelps from getting close to me. But I do need to make sure I pay attention to my unit composition. I need a balanced mix of units, and it's still pressure from my opponent, right? So it's delayed pressure, but it's still pressure. I mean, I could still die during the first watch. I mean, if he attacks, I mean, he will attack at second watch, right? So I am tempted now, because he made this delayed pressure. I am tempted to take risks. I am tempted to basically put this burner here, try to withstand the attacks from, okay, there is the wolf. But again, his units are scattered. This particular burner has already done its job. And look here, I already have villages, another village which is open, so I'm not sure whether there is a leader here that can punish me for taking this village. However, I'm not in the mood of taking any more risks, simply because this particular game is going well and there is no reason to take unnecessary risks. I could place this Saurian augur on this village, and then that would be quite efficient versus these assassins and orcish archer. However, I would need to block this troll whelp somehow, some way. Not really sure at this point. Well, if I'm going to overextend, I will get my units killed, I feel. Never mind. So I was expecting to scout some units here, which I didn't. Therefore, I'm going to take risks with this skirmisher. So if I'm taking risks with the skirmisher, I might as well take risks with this fighter as well. So, especially since I wasn't touched during this attack. And now, since I'm taking risks there, I might as well take risks on this side as well, though I'm not feeling it, to be honest. Troll would be a good unit to have on that particular Orcish Archer is going to deal a lot of damage to the Clash. However, the Assassin will poison, yes, but the Troll Whelp is not going to deal that much. So from this perspective, I'm just going to place this. Let me just, never mind. Okay, I'm going to place this and forget. On this side, I am going to place this burner, simply because it can only be hit by 2 trolls. So I'm going to place this burner and then I'm going to forget about it. In terms of the other side here, just say I'm not sure whether anything is coming here. Apparently not. So I'm just going to rest in this village. I'm keen on keeping my units in the middle. And I'm keen on recruiting faster units that would reinforce both sides. So from this perspective, I'm keen on recruiting a fighter. And also I am keen on, in case he does go for my burner, keen on being able to, I'm not too worried about this clasher. Not too worried at all. But I do want to be able to recruit and then do some. I want to basically protect this burner. It's fine if the clasher gets a beating, because the clasher is made for that, right? The clasher is the tank, more or less. But I want to protect my burner, because the burner will deal a lot of damage to these trolls when day comes. And it's also a more expensive unit than the clasher. As long as I can survive long enough to build up the Drake numbers, then I should be fine. Now, I don't know what he is planning to do at this moment. The most vulnerable target here would be the clasher. However, troll whelps, strong, fearless, strong troll whelps are absolutely fantastic. However, this fighter is going to die, so basically I have sacrificed this fighter. However, it's worth it simply because I'm not getting one village out of this sacrifice. I'm getting one village for 2 turns, even 3. And I'm getting even more villages via this, through this skirmisher here. And this skirmisher can only be hit by, well, he could have actually attacked the skirmisher, to be honest. The skirmisher is on 60%, however, the troll would have been able to hit it. Oh god, that is insane amounts of damage. Yeah, from this perspective, maybe I was a bit overconfident. I underestimated my opponent. Well, 2 out of 4 versus 60%, that is reasonable to expect. However, he should have, for example, saved the wolf here. So that was my mistake. I basically threw away 2 units into the meat grinder. Well, one of them, this particular skirmisher. So I threw away the skirmisher into the meat grinder. He could have saved the wolf, and he could have used one wolf to kill the skirmisher now, and with the other wolf, he could have grabbed the village. 1 kill, nice experience on the wolf. He doesn't have an intelligent wolf, but it would have been nice experience on the wolf, and I would have gotten to keep a village, right? But he would have gotten a kill, which is great because Drake units are quite expensive. Sure, it would have paid for it on the long run. I would have paid for that unit simply because I would have held this village for a longer time. However, it's a bit negligible in the beginning versus Orc. If you hold villages versus Orc, it's negligible. He will build up his army anyway, simply because army is cheap. You will affect a bit his, when he really is starving for villages is when he has a lot of units, and that's not the case. He has very few units at this point. So no matter how much impact you think he would make by holding these villages, it would in reality be much more reduced, practically. Anyway, is it safe to say I was a bit lucky? I was a bit lucky, yes. I got minus 28%. Okay, now it is second watch, and then my opponent will fight during dawn, which is what I like to see. And as you can see, this particular clasher dealt a lot of damage to the troll whelp. And I do have a lot of burners, and I'm not that scared now, simply because the next turn will be dawn. So at this moment in time, I can just, feast on these trolls and experience into the intelligent auger. Hopefully. Okay, never mind. Forget what I said. Experience into the intelligent burner then, which is also fine. Need 2 more kills to level that. And in terms of what comes on this village, I would say, not really sure. I would say if he's going to commit his army to killing my units, so be it. However, I am going to get something out of it. So sure, he can have this clash, but he will basically lose another unit, and this would go into my burner. The experience would go into my burner, and then I would probably have a Drake Flare on the battlefield. And you see these units are starting to look like a flock of Drake units, which is really what you want to be seeing when playing Drake. And I will be recruiting, just to make full use of my leader's time, I'll be recruiting 2 Drake fighters, and I will be mounting up the pressure on this side. So if he does want to stay, I also have the leader to help. I'm not too bothered about this assassin. He's doing absolutely nothing here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Just going to scout a bit and go back. I'm not even going to attack. I'm happy as long as I am on that particular village. Now this is the most interesting part here. I mean, these units can't really reach my fighter, so that should be... Well, there's no way to run, is it? Funnily enough, there is. It seems there is. I'm going to activate planning mode for a second. And now you see the troll cannot reach me. This particular archer cannot reach me. However, these 2 archers can reach me. And the assassin can reach me. So they might choose to not go for the clasher, but go for this skirmisher instead. However, they would still be in a difficult position if they choose to do that. Let's say another way I could play this would be to basically go towards here, and then the troll would be able to reach me from 50%, which would be terrible. Or I could go here, and then the troll would be able to reach me from 3%, which should be a bit better. And I will only have 1 unit to attack me, so from this perspective, it would be a bit better. Now troll can only reach here, however, he will most likely pay with his life because I have leader, I have fighters coming, I have burners, and these 2 units cannot reach my fighter. And I'm going to go for the most for the okay, and I am probably going to going to go for the most vulnerable unit. And remember, I've already had 1 kill, and I'm willing to sacrifice this clasher if I'm getting another kill in return and building up experience in the burner. So it's up to him what he wants to do. And remember, I still have 1 extra village here, and it will take him a while to deal with it. Already done, dawn, so this is why I said about the slow attack. He should have pushed his units more aggressively during dusk. He should have been at my gates at dusk. No reason to wait for first night. No, it's a bit counterintuitive. Why am I attacking during dusk? You're not. You are pushing your units during dusk. If I decide to attack you, then you will fight under the cover of darkness. If you push your units forward at first night, you'll be fighting at the cover of second night. And after second night, it's dawn again, and you are in trouble. And I don't expect him to, he's playing pretty conservatively, which is fine. However, with Orc, you do need a certain degree of madness, right? A certain degree of commitment. I was a bit lucky there, to be fair. Well, this clasher would have survived anyway. He would have needed 3 out of 3. However, 0 out of 3, it's a bit painful. To be fair, it's a bit painful. He should probably let this archer die. There is no other way to play it, I feel, at this point. Yeah, so now it's only a matter of time. I should take my time, try to build up my forces, and build up a strong composition in terms of unit diversity. and then move forward and try to get these villages. Now this was a bad move simply because, well, you saw what happened. He did not have a chance to kill. I had a chance to kill. I mean, even if that didn't happen, I would have still killed the wolf next turn. So that was a risk that he took unnecessarily, I feel. It's a bit of a pity that he took that risks. Anyway, we can always learn. So I was like this once myself. I made such mistakes in the beginning. So the important thing is not to be sad that you are making mistakes. The important thing is to learn from those mistakes. And you can always learn. Absolutely always learn. So from this perspective, I would say, not really sure what to do here, where to put the experience. It just feels that this particular clasher will not do much, therefore I am keen on using it for attacking. Now, I'm not scared anymore, simply because the next turn will be a day and I'll be fighting under the cover of, under the sun. Now, in terms of, wow, it's a bit too bold, I would say, if I would just go here and attack this archer mindlessly. And I could say planning mode. I could go here. Yeah, so that would be absolutely fine. And I could go here. And I could, take some extra risks, try to cause a fight, but I'm more keen on not taking any damage, right? So 11. Now I'm really not keen on not taking damage here, so I will be just placing my auger here for healing support. That's basically it. Now, in terms of this assassin, I would say just hit him once, perhaps. Well, not even that, not a problem. Okay, that's good placement. Make sure I cannot be zone of control. Now, I should be flying to help out my brethren. In terms of this unit here, there's no point to, I could even try, but there's no point to take any more risks, I feel. I just can chill in this village and be absolutely fine. In terms of recruits, I would say more fighters. Why not? And I'm not sure whether this can be useful at this point or not. Perhaps it's better to just heal him and let him fight another day. He's not that useful during daytime. Okay, so with this being said, you see how aggressive I am. I am right next to him. Even if I didn't make the actual attack, that would have perhaps resulted in a lot of retaliatory damage from my opponent. I did not make that attack. I chose, for example, the melee attack on the burner, right? So, yeah, I at least placed my units aggressively so that I can cause him trouble, right? So I need him to think about how he could place his units, how he could defend. I need him to have some level of fear, because when the opponent is scared, that's when he makes mistakes, and that's when you can capitalize on those mistakes and win the game. Again, 3 units ahead, no units lost so far. I would say this game is looking absolutely fabulous. It's my game to lose at this point. I don't really see how I could do that. It's morning. I should go. Now is the time to go um, full craziness, basically. Absolutely throw everything at your opponent. If there is a time of day when you should do that, it's at during the first morning. That's the only time you are allowed to take as many risks as you wish. However, if you do watch my previous episode where I was playing Drake versus Dwarf, this is what I did. I took as many risks as I wanted during during morning, and I kind of lost the battle. I didn't say the war. I'm not going to spoil that for you, but I did lose that particular battle where I pushed my units forward and took unnecessary risks. So there are always exceptions to each rule. However, statistically speaking, if you attack during morning, most of the times you would be fine. As you can see, he is retreating with absolutely everything, and I am just going to, because I have 3 units advantage, I'm just going to go full craziness. As I said before, extremely daring, taking risks. Say even here, I mean, we'll just go for it. Well, was not meant to be, but even if I do lose, I feel that this troll could have stayed easily in that village. So even if I do lose some units, not really sure about this clash. I'm trying to lure out the assassin. Although I could also close off the assassin using the glider. And now he won't be able to come and poison. Well, he would with the other assassin. So from this perspective, perhaps since the clash is just so close to dying, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, perhaps put it here and then grab the village, use it to grab the village, use it for something else rather than fighting. My army is spread pretty thin. And I am going to commit even more units. At this point, you see I have 1, 2, this unit is close to dying, but I have more units coming from all over the place. And I will be recruiting now more fighters, simply because they do. I'm thinking of bringing my leader as well, but I have a steady income, so there is absolutely no reason why I would take that risk. That is, we are talking risks that my opponent should take, because he's the one being a bit behind at the moment. So if he wants to win the game, he needs to be the one taking risks. With this being said, I don't know if there is anything else that he can do at this point. I simply have too many villages, and it's afternoon. He does not have the damage bonus that Orc needs so much. His units are wounded, so are some of mine, but again, I have the daytime advantage. I don't expect this to take any longer. I expect my opponent to concede, but we shall see. We have seen comebacks that have seemed even more impossible. So from this perspective, you should never concede. You should fight until the very end, until the bitter end. Who knows if the random number generator gods will decide to give you the victory instead. It can always happen. Again, in Wesnoth, just like in life, you can never be sure of winning. You can always make everything possible to increase your chances of winning, but you can never, not even now, I cannot be sure of winning. My units, theoretically, can start missing absolutely every single target, whereas his units can hit every single target, therefore causing me to lose all my units eventually and causing me to slowly lose the game. Of course, this is incredibly unlikely. However, it's not impossible in theory. Again, it's practically impossible, but theoretically, it's not impossible. Anyway, he's doing some good damage here. So, poison my burner, but my burner, remember, because of the auger, will not take poison damage. Glider is also going to take poison, so from this perspective, this is the advantage of having 2 assassins. It's incredible. I mean, you can start poisoning really fast. Oh god, that really hurt there. That hit on the auger really hurt. From this perspective, he should have perhaps tried first on the auger and then tried to finish the auger like he did now. So he should have done this first, because he could have had another slot on the auger like he already did. Now the question comes, what do I prioritize? First of all, I need to take this village because this particular clasher has nothing else to do. Then this particular unit does not do a lot in terms of damage, so I would say this particular unit can perhaps kill this archer. Great. Now, don't have too much surface area here, so from this perspective, I would say not really sure, to be fair. I'm half tempted to go for I want the Wolf Rider, to be honest. He already has the experience, so he is a good target. As you can see, so it went pretty badly, so I'm just going to continue hitting the Wolf Rider. Great. Now I'm going to try to get the Wolf Rider with my... Well, that's one way to do it, so I could perhaps use this from 40%. So I got the hit. And now I can use my other units on finishing off the fighter. So I can use, for example, this one to finish off, sorry, not the fighter, but the archer. And now I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't reach that anyway, so I might as well put the experience into it. There it is. Okay, so now I need one more shot for this. Now I have 2 options here. Grab another village or deal damage. So you might be tempted to get another village. However, he already is on 4 villages. Why would you need another village? The army needs tons of time to get to him anyway, so might as well take advantage of your power phase and deal some more damage. This unit couldn't do anything, so it took a village. However, these units, this particular unit can do something, can attack this troll, and trolls are quite tanky, so the fact that I managed to get 8 hit points off would make him an easier target in the future. Now, I do have a lot of targets lined up here for him to destroy. I do want to go also a bit around, not only on this side, also on the other side. So now I am going to transition into Augurs, simply because night is coming, and Augurs can basically fight at night with Orc, considering that I'm already overwhelming him. Now, in terms of what is happening here, considering that I basically took over this side of the map, I am half tempted to push my leader forward. However, this might backfire, so I'm just going to push my leader forward, assess the situation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. It's going to take a long time anyway, so I might as well just, keep recruiting, be happy. Now, I took a risk. I stayed during afternoon. Now, suddenly, the balance is shifting. He is the one becoming stronger, and these units are all... I did not want to spend time and heal up these units. You see how quickly Drakes die versus Orc. So now is his chance to come back into this game. I didn't want to spend time poison. I wanted to deal damage with these poisoned units rather than retreat and go back and try to heal them. Now, that was a level 0 unit. That can happen. He should have, in my opinion, used the mushroom. There was no reason for him not to use the mushroom. Anyway, he's probably going to get this fighter and this glider in the end. Probably going to poison this burner as well. However, his assassins are getting softened up. Okay, he's starting to basically rename his units. He's a funny guy, guess. And now he is going to finish off my fighter with the assassin, I assume. And yeah, I mean, he should use the troll to kill off my skirmisher. That would be an easy kill. And he could use this assassin to poison or even get the village. No, he's going to go for the poison. However, there is the opportunity of retaliation damage which just happened. So he has to be really careful. Okay, 40% survival. That was lucky, perhaps, but also I was a bit unlucky with the other things. So, yes, lucky skirmisher, probably closing the game down. It remains to be seen. I am keen on leveling up this fighter, so I'm planning to... Yes, I'm planning to basically count my moves, plan my moves in such a way that I am able to finish off this. I mean, 2 hits versus 30%, it's not unheard of, so I took that risk. Now, in terms of this particular, oof, that is a tough call. I could perhaps try to do something of this sort. I only need 1 hit, 2 hits. I would take that any day. Now, in terms of what this particular fighter can do, he can't do much, but this one can do something. Okay, that was a good use of the unit. Again, I'm fully utilizing my units before night comes, so this one cannot do anything, so might as well grab a village. However, these two can still hit this archer, who otherwise would deal a lot of damage during the evening. So again, I didn't spend time grabbing these villages. When night comes, when I don't deal any significant damage anymore, then I will retreat into his villages. Until then, it's fighting time, and it doesn't really matter at this point what I'm recruiting or not. It's game over, I would say. So nice map. Reminds me more or less of I think I don't remember the one. It's the one with again a wide map with 7 villages per side. I want to say Thousand Stings Garrison, but it's not thousand. It's Walls of Pyrenees. Reminds me of Walls of Pyrenees and a bit of Silverhead Crossing as well in a way. So it's an interesting map, more or less. So I hope you guys enjoyed how to play Drake on this wide map like Walls of Pyrenees, and now clearing Gushes. We know a new map. It was, let's say, a textbook Drake play. My opponent tried really hard, props to him, but I could see some avenues of improvement, and I sincerely hope that this video is contributing to his improvement as well. I sincerely hope he he's not particularly sad that he lost this. He should take it as a chance to improve, as we should all do. Now, in terms of prioritizing units, now I would say 1 hit here. Well, 2 hits, I'll take that, obviously. As you can see, I'm still not rushing to those villages. I mean, if I can kill one more unit with this burner, then not sure here. I'm building up the experience levels on this particular grunt, so I have to be careful now not to not to get him too close to leveling up. If I would attack with this, then that would be problematic, simply because I would build up his experience level, and next turn he could basically level up, and I will be recruiting more Augurs, because why not? Again, he only has 2 units. He can probably recruit 1 more, and no matter how he deals damage with this Orcish grunt, I assume that I should be able to kill him next turn, unless he gets 2 out of 2 on this clasher. In this case, it would be incredibly difficult for me to manage that. Well, it didn't, so guess he should concede. He's staying to the game and trying to play it out. It's been an interesting map, so might as well finish it the way it was meant to be finished. Oh, misclick there. Okay. Probably this. Should probably have 0 income at this point. And we shall see. Basically use my clasher. Anyway, I hope you ladies and gentlemen liked it, and I shall see you next time.